reading, writing, and arithmetic. And of course, that all important fourth R, the arts. Today we're going to spotlight the arts in Tyler ISD. You're going to get a chance to hear from teachers, students, community members talking about the fourth R. You're going to hear some great performances as well. So just sit back, relax, get ready. Here we come with the fourth R. Welcome to the fourth R, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and of course that fourth R, the arts. We're here with Maggie Hodges, a student here in TISD who is an incredible flute player. And we're so glad she's here with us today, and we're just going to talk to her. She's a really nice person, really quiet and really shy, but she told me earlier that she yells at her big brother. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk to her a little bit about that, and I know that this is probably going to be her last day to ever do that, right? No?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, all right. Well, let's talk a little bit more. Where did you go to elementary school?
I went to Rice.
Rice? And while you were at Rice, what made you decide that you wanted to get, were you at Rice a flute player or learned to play recorder or what happened?
At Rice, I played the recorder and I played the piano a little bit.
Oh, I like to play the piano too. So what made you decide that when you got to middle school that you would be a flute player?
Well, I grew up listening to my dad play the piano and my brother play the trumpet, and I just felt like I should play in the band.
In the band, okay. So, so you picked up the flute. So you come from a musical family?
Kinda, yeah.
Kinda? Well, you say your dad plays piano and your brother plays trumpet. Now, was your brother in bands here in Tyler? Mm-hmm. What band was he in?
He was in the Hubbard band.
In the Hubbard band?
Robert E. Lee.
In the Robert Lee band. And I couldn't believe that you would, because now, aren't you in the Robert Lee band? Mm-hmm. And I can't believe that you would yell at your brother in the band.
Well, he's not in band anymore.
He's not?
No.
Okay. So then it's okay then. I think it's okay. Tell me what made you really work hard at the flute. What about the flute really kind of makes you feel good? Because I know you said you did it because your brother played trumpet and your dad played piano, and you just decided you play flute. But what about flute really captures you?
I like the sound it makes. It's just.
Is it soothing?
Yeah.
On a day when things are going like just crazy, can you just pick up the flute and it just calm you down?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. And see, you're already all calm and cool and collected. So for me, I can't even imagine how cool it must be. Does your family enjoy listening to you play flute as well?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. So when don't they enjoy? When you're practicing scales or when you're
when I play something over and over.
Over and over. But sometimes playing things over and over are very important because we have to do that not only in music, but we have to do that in academics, don't we? We have to study things over and over until we get it down. Because it took me a while to get your name. We had to go through about 3 or 4 takes before I could get your name right, you know. So it just takes time, and you have to continue to practice things until you get it like you want it. And I tell you what, in just a moment, you're going to have a chance to hear her perform, and you'll get a chance to hear what happens when you really work at something. and practice it till you get it right. Because see, practice doesn't always make perfect, right? It makes perfect, but it can make perfectly bad or perfectly good, right? So if you practice things over and you practice it right, it comes out really good. And she did a really good job. Have you tried out for all region or things like that?
Yes.
How did you do at region?
In 7th grade, I got second chair concert, and then in 8th grade, I got 8th chair honors band.
Wow. So, and how many bands are there at region?
3.
3 bands, and you got in the top band, and your last year, and there's about what 90 to 100 kids in each band. Yeah, I'll tell you, there's about 90 to 100 kids in each band, and basically about 2,000 to 2,500 kids try out on all the different instruments, whether it be from flute, clarinet, trumpet, tuba, percussion, all the way through. So it's a lot of people there at the competition trying out to try to get those chairs. So for you to make the band is quite an honor. And you also tried out for solo and ensemble, and you did really well. And so you're going to come back and perform for us in just a moment. What are you going to perform?
It's by Handel. It's called Sonata 7.
Sonata 7 by Handel. Great. Well, sit back, relax. Thank you for being with us on the 4th R. And in just a moment, you're going to get to hear Miss Hodges do an incredible rendition. So sit back. Don't you leave. Welcome back. My name is George Faber. I'm the Director of Visual and Performing Arts for the Tyler Independent School District. And with me, I'm in the presence of royalty. I'm with Karen Norman, who is the band director at Bolter Middle School. And her mother is Nora McDaniels, who we call the Queen of Jazz here in East Texas, and has been an incredible musician for many years. Karen, now where you are from?
Tyler.
Are you sure? Because you hesitated on that.
Yeah, I'm from Tyler.
Okay.
Born here, raised here.
Born here, raised. And where'd you go to school here in Tyler?
I went to Dunbar Elementary, and when they integrated, we all went to Bonner Elementary. And from there, I went to Moore, then junior high, and John Tyler High School.
Great. Now, what influenced you? Now, I know your mother is this great jazz artist, but was that your influence to get into music, or?
Our influence in music was that everybody had all of us kids had to take piano lessons. Everybody in our house had to take piano lessons, or you couldn't live there. And so my sister was in the band, my brother was in the band, so it wasn't even a thought process. I knew I would be in the band. You just
knew that was going to happen, right?
Right.
Okay. So after you got through at John Tyler, where'd you go to school?
I went to the University of North Texas.
Oh my goodness, that's probably one of the best music schools in the state. Am I correct?
You are correct. As a matter of fact, it's one of the best in the country. Thank goodness. And I got my degree in jazz studies.
Jazz studies, wow. And so what? I know you, now. What did you play in the band when you were in band?
When I was in band, I played clarinet.
Played clarinet.
Right.
So, what caused you to? Is that what caused you to kind of want to be a band director, or did you want to be?
At first, I wanted to be a doctor, but I liked the music classes better than I did the science classes, so I decided to change my mind and go and become a music major. Now, at first, I wanted to be I did go in as a clarinet player, but then I like playing the piano more, and I guess because I saw my mom playing piano more, and I liked it, so I switched more to piano.
Great. Well, I'll tell you what. You're a fantastic pianist, and in a moment we'll get a chance to hear that.
Thank you for saying so.
Well, yeah, I mean, you do. You know, someday when I grow up, I'm gonna get a few lessons from you. You know.
Okay. Well, come on.
And we've known, and the funny thing about it is we've known each other for a long time.
Yes, a long time.
I remember back in TMEA, I think you were still at North Texas, and I was at Stephen F. Austin,
yes,
which to me is the best school. I don't know why you thought North Texas was, but right. You know, I always thought Stephen F. Even though I had a lot of friends at North Texas, you know, I just figured they went there because they couldn't get into Stephen F. Okay. Yes, right. Okay. So as far as this Bolter Middle School band, now you did band before you got to Bolter, so where?
Right, I started out at Brownsboro ISD, and I was assistant band director there, and then I moved from there to Chapel Hill High School, and I was choir director and assistant band director there. Now, when I came to TISD, I came as a choir director. No, I came as elementary music. I did elementary music for a couple of years, and then I moved back into the middle school, and I was a choir director at Bolter, and then I eventually became the band director. So I've kind of done it all.
Yeah, you've done it all. So that means that you're very versatile, and not only that, but you also perform in the community.
Yes.
That you perform. I know. Where all do you perform?
Well, basically, anytime anybody calls me and they need a piano player, I'm usually available. And I'm also the church pianist for the New Days Community Church.
All right. So. So you're not just a band director who doesn't perform. You're a band director who really, when you say you need to practice, I need to practice. Yeah, you're not only just telling them to practice, but you're also doing the same.
Same
right,
thing.
Right. So, is there anything that we need to know about what are your expectations for your kids on your campus?
We expect to get our kids to understand the importance of not necessarily music as a vocation, not necessarily because most kids don't do that, but we want them to have an appreciation of our music program and appreciation of music as a whole, because it helps to make the whole person. I think nowadays in education we kind of get bogged down on the testing, And a lot of times we lose creativity from our kids and from everybody else. They wonder where the creativity is. Well, it's in their music classes, their theater classes, their orchestra and choir classes, those classes that cause you to use your feelings and your soul as well as academics, because it all works together. It makes the whole person.
So it's about mind, body, and soul.
Correct.
Yeah. So talk to me about, because I know your program has grown from, I think when I came in TISD a few years ago, about 10 or so years ago, it was about maybe 65, 75 kids in that program.
Right.
Well, how many kids you got in there now?
Right now we're looking at about 208. Last year we had about 180, and we're still growing.
So the program is growing.
Yes.
And you're also slated for 2015 or so to get a new school. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So hopefully you'll get a band hall that will house that 208 or so.
Yes, it's greatly needed because we don't have enough room to put everybody right now. So
you mean what's the problem with rehearsing? I have to tell this story. I remember going over and rehearsing the band one day, and then they went over to Robert E. Lee for pre-UIL, and I just remember all these kids kept coming in, and finally I walked up to you and I said, "Were all those kids in that rehearsal?" You said, "Yeah, they were. They were all stacked in there. They were like in corners and all this kind." But it's going to be really nice for you to have a facility, and one of the things that we really want to push the community for is that it's good for our kids to have a nice place to rehearse,
right,
a nice place to go to school, and that also helps with morale. That helps with just pride in wanting to be at the school.
Right.
I want to say I really appreciate that you are here to talk a little bit to us, but also I want people to know that you're a great artist in your own right. And in just a moment, she's going to do one of my favorite Stevie Wonder pieces. I'm a big Stevie Wonder fan. I guess when you say if I had to pick one, I couldn't probably. But this is one of the ones that I would probably pick if I had to pick several of Stevie's songs that I enjoy, and that would be All Is Fair in Love. So you stick around. We'll be right back after this message, and you're going to hear a wonderful interpretation of Stevie Wonder's All Is Fair in Love. We'll see you in a little bit.
right, my name is Orinthia Mason. I attended Mamie G. Griffin Elementary School, M.W. Dogan Middle School, and a proud graduate of Emmett J. Scott High School, the last graduating class. I also graduated from Texas College with a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education and Stephen F. Austin State University with a Master's in Educational Administration. I am presently serving as the coordinator of Alumni Affairs at Texas College and the proud president of the Board of Trustees of the Tyler Independent School District. I am Tyler ISD.
Welcome back. My name is George Faber. I'm the Director of Visual and Performing Arts for the Tyler Independent School District. And with me is Kevin East. He is the president of the Boys and Girls Club of East Texas.
That's right.
All right. And actually, he is the new president of the Boys and Girls Club.
Only been there about 6 months now, so that's right, new.
Oh, so this is a great time because the Boys and Girls Club has been there for about how many years now?
The Boys and Girls Clubs here in East Texas started in the early 90s by a few pastors here locally that really were concerned about kids who might be labeled at risk in our own community. So they kind of banded together to do something. And about 5 years after they started, they incorporated it with the national brand, the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Because I can remember as a principal working with the Boys and Girls Club at the Castle.
That's right.
And having kids come in. And even then, they were doing things with the arts back then. And now, Boys and Girls Club for the last 2 or 3 years has been working with the Visual and Performing Arts here in Tyler with an orchestra program.
That's right. You know, like we already said, I came on 6 months ago and I quickly heard about this program that people before me have started. And I know you were a part of that as a community leader as well as a board member even of the Boys and Girls Clubs here of East Texas, helping us understand the need for kids being involved in the arts. And so just a couple years ago, they started a strings program. We've been able to expand it since then. Now it's serving 2 schools here in our own community, allowing kids to be a part of that.
Yes, and we are at, the Boys and Girls Club is at Owens and Andy Woods.
That's right.
And very excited about that and looking forward to what we can do in the near future because basically we're looking to some after-school programming in the near future with a program called Club Broadway.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of need. I've met with the superintendent here locally. I've met with almost all the principals that we work with now and discussing how can we best come alongside schools here in town. You know, a lot of people, when they think Boys and Girls Club, they assume it's a daycare somewhere. They don't really know what it's about. That was where I was. And even when the board called me, I said, look, I'm not really interested from what I know about the Boys and Girls Club. But as I got to know it better and thought, wow, we can really come alongside these kids in these schools to help them. Obviously, arts was one of those things we came to because arts for kids gives them a way to express themselves, which is so important. You know, we work with kids from all over the spectrum, kids that come from a double-parent home, a very stable home, all the way to the other end of the spectrum where they just come from very, very tough scenarios. And when kids come from tough backgrounds, one of the things they end up doing is they end up bottling up. And they don't know how to get words out. They don't know the words to use to express themselves. But arts is so important because it gives them this way to kind of, in a sense, unclog. I'll use a formal term there, not really, but it's kind of a way to unclog for them.
Gives them an outlet.
An outlet, thank you. Much better word than unclog, that's right.
Unclog, I don't know. Unclog could be a good new song. You know?
That's exactly right.
But I guess also, where are you from, you know?
Well, originally from Baton Rouge, moved to Tyler about 16 to 17 years ago now. I've been the executive director of ministries for Pine Cove for a long time, and so I've been here in our own community. But God really began to do a great work in me a couple years ago. My wife and I became foster parents. We fostered a number of kids through this CPS system here in town, and then we eventually adopted 2 of those kids. And so now we have 5 kids under the age of 7, which is crazy. A 7, 6, 4, 4, and 2-year-old now. Our first 3 biological kids obviously are white. Our last 2 are African American kids. And so we have this interesting blended family now, which obviously even got me more involved with the Boys and Girls Club here about what can we do to reach kids from all ethnicities here in our own backyard.
And what can we do
I guess, as a district to come alongside and not because I know you're helping us.
Yes, that's
but what can we do to help you?
Well, you know, the Boys and Girls Club is obviously a nonprofit. And so anytime you sit down with any nonprofit leader, we will tell you, you know, money always helps sustain what we do. And so we've been able to do the Strings program because grants that came in that helped fund first the teachers part, the component to pay the salaries for the instructors. But now we've gotten additional grants to help buy actually violins now. In order for it to keep going, there will be always a funding need for this. And so that's one way the community can come alongside and say, you know what, I believe in this. And I believe that all kids should have access to the performing arts in some way. Well, they can help fund that. But the second thing is, George, I'd love to emphasize to everybody is people. We want to see people who say, you know what, I've got some time. I can invest my life in kids. You know, I played alto saxophone in high school in a jazz band in South Louisiana. That's where I come from. And so somebody like me who still remembers how to play C and B and A on a saxophone, or whatever it is, somebody who taught piano lessons. I mean, people can be used, and people are the best commodity, because what these kids need are stable people in their lives, safe people that they can look up to, they can learn from. Again, it helps become this great safe outlet.
Wonderful. And I just learned that you're a sax player.
Well,
No. It's done. Next gig.
I thought you were going to somebody walk over with an alto saxophone. You're like, not a chance. Not doing it.
Yeah, but I think that's so important for people to know, is that basically you need people.
That's right.
Funds, whatever people can do to help is much appreciated. I tell you what, we appreciate you so much, TISD. I appreciate you. Mm-hmm. The students of TISD appreciate you. Whatever we can do to help, and we appreciate all the help that you're giving to us. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Boys and Girls Club, to all the board members and all the staff for all that you do. Thank you, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for watching The Fourth R, our spotlight on the arts of Tyler ISD. We appreciate you for sitting there and just taking a few moments to learn about the Fourth R, and to also listen to our students, teachers, alumni, and community members. We appreciate you so much for allowing your children to be a part of the arts of TISD. Please, if you'd like to know more about performances, go to your campus websites or the District Visual and Performing Arts website to get more information. Also, like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Remember, reading, writing, arithmetic, and that all-important fourth R, the arts.